Hey, 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 it's Dr. Day. Dr. Day. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time over here, I just want to say welcome to the channel called Latter Days. And on this channel, I don't know why y'all, the light is kind of dark. Let me put it up so y'all can see my eyes. Okay. Excuse me. Thought I had it situated. Oh, I did. It was on my phone. So I think that's why. Okay, excuse me. Again, welcome to the channel, Latter Days, a channel for women who understand that brokenness is not breaking and that healing comes in layers and there's still peace now in these latter days. Remember yesterday I was talking, I said I want this to be a sacred place for women, a safe place where we can share and talk. And this is the sacred place for women who have lived. And most of us have lived. If you're over 70, over 60, you have lived and you've lost. You lost things, people, whatever, but you've lost something. But yet, through it all, you're still becoming. So I just want to share this right here from my heart to my sisters. And then I'm going to, maybe in each segment or however the Holy Spirit leads me, I'll share a story how I got to this point. Um, but here we go. Here on this channel, we talk about grace. Grace, not a cliche, but a lifeline. And many people take the U.S. people, what is the grace of God, and usually they say it's unmerited favor, His love. That that's all of it, but that's not the whole thing. It encompasses, you know, that latter part says that it's the mercy of God toward humanity. That's grace. That's what we're living in every day. Grace. With all this stuff that's going on in the world, we're in grace. And stop taking grace for granted. You don't know the hour, you don't know the day, you don't know nothing. But this one thing I know for sure. You better look at your life and think about how the grace of God is keeping you. It's not you, it's not your connections, it's not your money. It's not that because people lift your head up, you have pride. No, it's about God's mercy towards humanity. And I know it hurts God hard. I'm gonna go back to what I wrote, but I know it hurts God's heart to see what He created that was so beautiful, so pure, and everything that would fail again. The first time we failed was in the Garden of Eden. We failed God. You know, um, Adam and Eve failed God, and that was the beginning where sin and everything. It became a snowball effect. So God gave us all those chances, that He gave Adam even after He banned them from the garden, but that was His mercy that He didn't, you know, wipe them away because of what they did. That was grace. And so like I said, I want us ladies, and I had to come to learn this because I haven't always been uh, in the, I have always been in the grace of God, but I always never knew what the grace of God entailed, not just words on a paper, but to actually understand it. And then you give your life to being who God created you to be, nothing less and nothing more. And so as I'm thinking about women our age, like I say, you raise your kids, you got your grandkids, you retire from your job, and you go to church, and then you fellowship with people, then you go home, and then you go and then you sit in that empty house and you look at the four walls. Oh yes, you got a beautiful home. No doubt is that God has blessed you with a beautiful home. That was his grace right then. But then you still have this emptiness, you have this void. And then your kids, they might be grown, have their own family. And like I said, maybe sometimes you don't hear from them until they want you to babysit or they want something, you know. But, and I'm not just saying that happened to me, but I know that happens to people. But God still has grace towards you, and I want you to get the understanding of what I'm learning grace is. And so that's why I'm talking to you, my sister. That's why I'm ministering to you. I mean, there's so much that's on the internets and social media platform, a lot of noise but no substance, and people are running for the noise when they need substance in this hour to sustain them, substance to keep them going, to fight, to not just give up like the enemy wants you to give up. And so I'm just going to start. I'm just going to share with you. I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. I get excited when God speaks to me, and then I get the revelation and the real understanding of what He's saying to me, how much He does love me. Because I am part of that humanity who hasn't always been good, haven't always crossed every uh, T and dot every I. But one day I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then I said, now I know I'm reading about this place, this paradise, this utopia to be in with the Father, the Creator that created us. But why I'm not living it? Yes, I have all the material things, and uh, don't take that for granted. And thank God for it. Might not have had all the things like I wanted, but I had enough that God knew that He could trust me with, number one, and that if He gave me everything that I want to desire, that I would be still wandering off the course of really knowing Him, because I think that those things have nothing, but those things have now become my God. And so I've learned this, ladies. I learned this. And just in case if you're a man out there listening, I'm going to talk to you too. I'm going to talk to anybody. This pertains to anybody. But I just know, I ain't going to say I know, maybe some 20, 30, 40-year old, your granddaughter, your niece need to hear this so they can get a better picture and understanding of who they are and how God made them intricate, and how God made them with His mercy towards them. But yet they out there just doing all kind of stuff for the world and self gratification and self pleasure. But I ain't gonna go there. I could talk about that, but it all ties into what I'm saying to you, my women older than 60, that you can look back over your life and say, no, you haven't always been perfect, you haven't always been good, but you at a point now that you look, and like I said, your kids is grown, and no one's in the house, empty net, and it's like when everybody was in the house and the kids together, life was a fast pace. Take the kids to practice. Go here, go here. And then as the kids wing away and they go into their own world and their family, then it's just maybe you and a significant other, or maybe God has transitioned the other significant other home to glory. And so you find yourself alone. And that long time is when you sit and the enemy start bombarding you with crazy thoughts like, well, it's all over now. All right, you just sit here and twiddling your thumbs. And so you sit there and twiddle your thumbs, and that's why your kids be thinking that, okay, well, she need to go into the senior citizen building. Nothing against senior citizens, because I'm a senior citizen. But I'm just saying, people will, if you present that kind of nature, people will put you in that category, and they very well will just write you off, that you have nothing to contribute. So I had to learn this. When I really started understanding and thinking about the grace of God, I had to learn this. And in me learning it, I feel this. And so like I said, this is a sacred place for women who have lived, lost, and learned and still becoming. Here we talk about grace. And it's not a cliche. Let me put my paper here. It's a lifeline. The kind that carried you through storms no one saw. And you've been in some storms. You might be in a storm right now. See, what makes you think that you exempt from storms? Remember over in Matthew 8:23-27 and Mark 4:35, 35 to 41 and Luke 8:22-25 when Jesus was on the boat, they told the stories in their own way when Jesus was on the boat and they was crossing over and Jesus went in the back and went to sleep. And then the winds became tumultuous in voice and it was just, it was something that they never probably encountered before. And they became fearful. Now, it wasn't a coincidence that the wind came up like that, but those men, those boys had been hanging with Jesus, and like us now, they didn't really believe who he was. Even though he was showing them and doing miracles, they still didn't believe. And so, I believe Jesus, talked to the wind. He told them to calm down, didn't he? So he could have told them, to let's show these boys who I am. I'm gonna take me a nap and I'm gonna chill. So Jesus was back there in the boat and Jesus was chilling. And then they come on, I don't know, Peter, I think it's Peter always doing something. He running up there, master, the boat. We're about to drown. And Jesus is looking at them like, yo, the maker of the storm is right here in your presence. And you don't even know it. And then all Jesus did, what he do? He looked at the sea and he said, peace be still. That's all he said. Peace be still. 3 words. So I say that you have went through some storms and nobody saw them. Maybe you didn't share it with your ace coon boom. I've been through some storms and I told some people, but there's some other storms that I went through. I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell my children because I had to walk that thing out. And even during those times that I was going through those actually storms, because I'm not saying I don't have no storms now, but when I was going through those actual storms, I wasn't serving the Lord like I should. I was straddling the fence. Want to be over here and then want to be over there. I wanted to be in the world. The world was having fun. And then, when I started going back to church, it was a lot of old people in there. And I wasn't going up in there. But now with wisdom and knowledge, it's because when they got old, they just stopped living. You know how they have the senior ministry, and you recognize the seniors once a year, and most of them are on the missionary board. And you pat them on the back then and, tell them they're doing such a fantastic job, and then you don't call them during the week to see how they doing. But you lived through that. Think of your storm. What kind of storm you went through that you can know that you made it? It was the grace of God. Mm, 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 mm. Those storms that kept you when you almost gave up. And I remember I was at a storm one time like that, and I almost wanted to give up. I almost wanted to give up. Mind you, I was in high school. And during those high school years, you just like be in love and all that crazy mess. You in love. I'll be trying to tell these young girls, baby, that's not even love, you know. That's just your flesh looking at something that's pleasing, like when Eve looked at the apple and she ate, and then we got in all this mess. Now, really, we got in the mess because Adam didn't stand up to be the man that he's supposed to be. Yeah, that's why we got. Yeah, but okay, both of them got us in this mess. Tonight, the title of this is "I Am Enough, Even If I Don't Fit Your Mold." I am enough, even if I don't fit your mold. And you know how to have the gelatin molds, and um, they have them, like in different shapes and stuff. And that's what is a mold, something that's distinctive, and it fits in. You make them and put the gelatin in there, and then in a mold be like kids jello and stuff like that. So you know, for a long time, I was trying to put myself in molds that people had created for me. And many of us do that when God already created the mold of your life. He knew and He knows the beginning from the end. But because the enemy is a counterfeit and an imitator, he'll make things look so appealing and so appalling. Now, well, maybe I'll use that word in another thought. He makes things so appealing that you lose focus and you lose sight on grace that's covering you. I know I've been there, but I almost gave up. And so, to finish the story, make it long and short, I was in high school and had a little boyfriend. He was a star football. I mean, he was a star basketball player. You always want the little boys that, something about how the enemy put that little athlete in your face, and you know, um, and he probably ain't been more thinking about you, the man me in the moon, because he's all up in his pride and himself, because he's getting all the accolades, he's getting all the attention. But then, if you want to talk to you, then you think you the best thing besides Kool-Aid, and you want everybody to say, "Look at me, look at me, look at me." And I be telling those young girls, use this right here. Use your head. Why would you want somebody, first of all, who don't even know who they are, and you don't know who you are, being a young kid? But you just all following the crowd, following the crowd. And I'm saying all this because that's all going to tie into us as in our golden latter years, or whatever terminology you want to use. That um, is what I'm trying to connect the dots, I guess, for lack of a better word, connect the dots. Because I might be going all the way around the circle, but I'm trying to get back to a point, and you'll realize the point when I get to it. Because it's going to hit you, because it's going to resonate with you. And you're going to say, oh, that's the point. So I said my title is I Am Enough If I Don't Fit Your Mold. And I'm going to ask you this question. Have you ever felt invisible after 60? Okay. I want you to lean in, because I got something to tell you. Girl, you're not finished. You're not finished. And you are not forgotten. You are a woman of wisdom. You have experience. You have experience that could change the next generation. Yes, they hard-headed. Yes, you were hard-headed when you was young. So just think about, stop being so hard. We need the discipline. We need the structure. But sometimes you can have so much discipline and structure and rigidness that you run the youth away because they're trying to find themselves, just like at a point maybe when you were young, you were trying to find yourself. So you should know how hard it is. So extend them some grace, the same grace that God gives you. Your worth is not measured by your expectations. There was a time you probably did do that. You was expecting people to give you the high praise and everything. And when you got the high praise, you just thought you was the cat's meow. I'm talking about things you used to do. But now I'm telling you what you should be striving to do and striving to know. And that is your worth is not measured by your expectations. Your value is not reduced because you didn't conform. Just because you didn't follow the crowd, ain't nothing changed with you, baby girl. You still you still the one that God created, the one that loves you with an unconditional love. You don't have to shrink, reshape, or silence yourself to be accepted. And when we get older, this is exactly what we do. We shrink back and then we don't say nothing. And we just sitting there counting our days, counting our days. But baby girl, that ain't the way God wants you to live. God don't want you to live like that. You live your life. You've had some good times, you had some bad times, you had some happy times, you had some sad times. Take all those experiences and put them in like a bowl. And each day, maybe write on a little piece of paper the wisdom that you got from whatever might have transpired during the day. Because if you really take time to really notice, wisdom is all around you. So God is always going to show you something and God is always going to reveal something. But if you're not in the spirit and if you don't have a relationship with God, you will miss it. So take that wisdom, you're in the grocery store and I don't know, God might give your wisdom might not be mine. So I don't want to say this is set in stone like this, but just you a woman of wisdom. And many of us done this. We spent decades filling in. We just filled in the mommy role, the teacher role, the wife role. We just filled in. And that was it. We just went from one role to another, one role to another, until it became that emptiness. And then now you're trying to find yourself, and now your time. But I want to tell you, now is the time to stand up. Check this out. Your worth is not measured by your expectations. Your value is not reduced because you won't conform. You don't have to shrink, reshape, or silence yourself to be accepted. Your time has come for a declaration of freedom. And this is what your declaration of freedom should be. I will not twist myself into someone else's comfort zone. Been doing that too long, wore too many t-shirts. Not in this latter years, baby. You got to not allow people to twist you to make them happy. You done experienced so much. I told you was on that storm, that boat one time in your life, and it was really, really bad, tumultuous. And God brought you through with the grace, and you keep settling and putting yourself and trying to make people comfortable. That was the old me. But I thank God that I know the new me. I had to take a Selah moment and I had to rediscover who Linda was. Man, I had lost Linda somewhere in the process. But during the time that I slow down, I don't run like I used to. Sometimes I barely go up the step, my knees be hurting. but grace brings me right on up from the top to the bottom and take me right on back down. So I don't complain. And I, like I said, I come in my room in my little cubby hole. You see my little board back there. I done made this. I got an office downstairs. I done made this little corner over here my office. Because now I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm working towards the things that I should have done. But I also recognize that everything is in a season. And so you got to recognize when your season, because I done missed too many seasons. But God's grace, He brought me through another season. He gonna bring you through another season. He gonna bring you through another season. Your declaration of freedom says, I will not twist myself into someone else's comfort zone. I will not apologize for the way God designed me. Remember how people used to do like this? I wish I could do it. Man, don't apologize for how God designed you. Do you know you came from the innermost being, the essence of God? And He designed you the way He wanted you to be? And then you want to try to go and alter what the Master did? Oh, you have failed and forgot about the grace of God. What did I say? His mercy towards you. I had to learn. I ain't have no cosmetic surgery. I didn't, but to each his own. But no, first of all, I don't like pain, so that's a whole. That's why I don't have no tattoos because I never get no tattoo. I don't. When I go to the doctor and they pull the needle out, they be like, "You okay?" I be hyperventilating. No, so I can't sit there and people putting. Anyway, that whole nother story. I will not twist myself into someone else's comfort zone. I just like to have fun, y'all. I will not apologize for the way God designed me. And I will not trade the authenticity for approval. I am authentic. I am who I am. Love it, leave it, or whatever. But there was a time, I wanted people to like me, and now I know those people don't have a heaven or to put me in. But God allowed me through experiences and everything to understand all I went through and everything. What I'm saying to you is to understand the grace of God. But you don't recognize that until you get older. This is the point I'm trying to say. When you young and you got your family, you got all of that, you in the hustle and bustle of life, you don't think about it. But now that you at those sit down, slow down years, enjoy them. Don't think that they're bad. They're not bad. You at a point that God has you and He still has need of you. That's what He wants you to know. That's what He sent me to tell you. You still have a purpose. Okay. How many I've been on here for? Let me finish. Okay. Because I can go on and on. You have lived long enough to know that molds are often made by culture, family, patterns, religion, and I'm going to put this religion without grace or fear. The culture, your environment. Say do this, monkey see, monkey do, everybody do. Everybody do the same thing. No individuality when God made us uniquely different. But because we're in the world, we don't see that grace that God has given us to be individuals. That was the grace He bestowed upon us. But you don't know that when you're young. But when you get into your senior years, like where you at now, embrace them. Because you're going to feel a whole lot better. I'm telling you, you're going to be so free You don't even really know what freedom is until you release yourself and know really what the grace of God has towards you. We ain't talking about nobody else because everybody got to work their own salvation out. But you don't shrink back. You might not can move in the pep in your steps like you used to, baby, but it's okay. You're still moving. You're still moving. I had to learn that, and I learned it, and I just want to share this with somebody. You are not clay in the hands of public opinion. You are crafted by purpose. You have a purpose. See, I didn't understand and really know what my purpose is, but I think I found my niche or clitch or whatever the word is go with it. I ain't trying to impress nobody, but I found my purpose. I knew I did a lot of things that I knew what my gift was, but I really didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know that all the reading that I was doing. I mean, people that know me can tell you my office from all four corners, just books and books. I threw, I'm not going to say hundreds, maybe thousands of books away. I have so many books. I take them to the library. I took them to the VA, and the people telling me, I can't I can't take no more books, and so I had to just throw them away. Now I got to go down there, in the next month or so, and I'll probably throw away some more books because I have so many. And the thing is, I tell people, and I'm proud of myself. If that's arrogant, whatever, that I read all of them. But what good is all of that knowledge be up here in this head, and I leave here and I don't share it with you? That's when God revealed Himself or His grace towards me. Remember, I said grace is His mercy of God towards humanity, and I'm part of humanity. So now I know what my purpose is. And even if I come on in here and only one person be on here, because I don't even know, to tell you the truth, I don't even know how. And I'm saying I don't know how, and they might not be grammatical correct and all that. I don't care. But all this stuff about social media, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what I'm supposed to be clicking. If someone wants to come on here and put a comment, they'd probably say, oh, I ain't listening to her no more. Because, see, I'm in that group, the millennium, well, not millennium, I'm sorry, the baby boomer. I'm in that baby boomer. And there's some baby boomers that's computer suave. I applaud you. But because I was so busy fast pacing and working and doing this, I really didn't get off into it. And so now I'm trying to learn all this stuff. It took me a good little while to understand Facebook when I go on there. Then somebody talking about X and something, and she did the password for me. I had to, keep all these little passwords in the notebook because I don't know what they were. And so now I use that, and that's where I put my I keep saying quotes, but I don't even know what words from God. Okay, God gives it to me. Usually between 1:30 and 4 in the morning. He be waking me up. I had a conversation, y'all, with God yesterday. When I popped my eyes open, it was 12:15, and I was like, okay, Lord, woke me up almost an hour early. Okay, I said, just okay, Lord, just give me like 5 more minutes. Give me 5 more minutes. I'm serious. Like I said, I want this channel to be real, and I'm being as real as I can be. I understand about living life now. I understand about being who you are and don't be ashamed. And so my friend Tara, she was like, well, do YouTube. And I'm like, girl, I don't know. She said, girl, all that stuff you got up in your head, it's time to release this stuff. It's time for you to do something with it. You don't have to be like all the other people. You don't have to mimic, and you don't have to, you don't have all the fancy stuff. Because y'all see, like I said, look back there. That's the little section in my bedroom with my board and stuff, little papers for my appointments. I have to remember my appointments. I can't remember my appointments. And then I got a planner right here. and then I mess up because I got a planner in my office, I got a thing in the kitchen, and I be forgetting to write on all these things, and then I look on my phone and I was like, I don't remember I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that. Not that I'm going something, but it's because I was just all over the place. Just all over the place, just doing. And that's what we get. We get all over the place, just doing. You just take a sea light moment, take a breathe in, come on down. Come on down. God got a purpose for you. Psalms 139:14 says, you are fearfully made. God made you uniquely, specifically who you are. Don't be worried about how nobody else look. I remember when I decide, for those who don't know, I have a bald head. Okay. I love it. I love it. Okay. I had dreadlocks for 25 years. And a friend of mine was like, I think you might look nice with a bald head, you know. And I'm like, and he was a barber. This guy I was dating, that's when I was not really understanding grace. I was straddling the fence. But anyway, he was a barber and he was like, you look good. Well, when I had the locks, he's the one talked me into the locks. And then he was like, you look good with a bald head. And I'm like, man, you crazy. So what I did, instead of doing it at one time, I had to go on the mission field to Kenya. And I had the lady that do my locks to take all this out and, shave it down. And it was a mohawk because I said, I can't do this all. It'd be a shock. I won't be on that plane to Africa. Look in the mirror, with no hair. So I went on and I came back and then I had to do like different little sections. And I like baseball, I like caps, any kind of caps. They don't have to be the name brand because this is not, I'm quite sure this is not the real one. But anyway, it's a baseball cap. So, okay, I'm gonna get serious. I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, and it's okay. I ain't gonna get caught up because I forget. Because I'm over here and y'all looking at me and y'all probably saying, oh, it don't matter. I'm still gonna do what I'm doing because I know my purpose. That's all I'm saying. When you know for a no, for sure, without a doubt. And you get to know this as you get older. God will put you in those places, where you have to know him. He's gonna make it miserable. He's gonna make it hard. And it was all when you wasn't really in that fast pace of life, you didn't recognize the same stuff that had going on then is going on now. But the reason it seems so heavy over here now is because you're in that solitude place. You're there and you don't have all the other stuff. And I'm not going to say your children and all, husband was distractions, but you don't have all that clatter. And so then you hear that you're in a quiet state, then you recognize that something is missing. So for a while, you go through the humdrum and you get all that stuff, but it's like sometimes I feel like a little gnat or something. But I just came on here, like I said, to make this a sacred place for you to um, share your thoughts, share your opinions. I don't have no problem sharing my thoughts and opinions. My life is an open book. It was already open. God has already opened it. And I filled it up with some unnecessary pages, but I got some pages left in that book. And I am trying to write the book for God. And the only reason I can do that is because I know with my wisdom and my life experiences that I still have a purpose. You still have a purpose. Don't give up. Don't worry about you can't move as fast as you used to do. You still have a purpose. Whether somebody else don't think so, it don't really matter. You got to get to that point. And I got to that point when God showed me. He helped me rediscover Linda. I had lost Linda in life. And this is what we do, ladies. We lose ourselves. Put your name there, Mary, Joan, whatever your name is. Say, I lost myself. But that's why I'm coming on here to tell you that God's grace, His grace, His grace, His grace, His grace has been keeping you. And you're stronger, you're more stronger now than you were before because you got the wisdom, you got the knowledge, you got the understanding. Oh, let me go because okay. Oh, boy, I've been talking long. Okay. Where was I? Okay, I might repeat this, but you are not alone, not when they approve, not when you perform, not when you prove. You are not too much. You are not behind. You are not outdated. You are not disqualified by age, by scars. And we got some scars. They may be up under your clothes, but those inner scars that you can't see, those the one that hurt more than the scars if you can see it on the outside. All that emotional stuff that you got yourself in turmoil about that you can't control. But you only know this from wisdom and moving on. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Listen to what I'm saying. You still, I already told you, you still have purpose. You are enough. So I said this, and I'm saying this, and you say this. So if I don't fit your mold, maybe your mold was too small because I am not here to fit in no more. I am here to stand firm, to speak boldly, declare and decree what God tells me to declare and to decree, to age with grace. Now, you gonna say that she done got a little beside herself, but I really think I look good for 71. I just think so. And my father thinks so too, because it's his grace that's keeping me the way I'm looking. If I look like everything I've been through, do you know, imagine how I would look? But that's grace that has kept me looking like this. To live a lie, I am enough. And you need to say that to yourself. I am enough. You are not too old. You are not too late. And most surely you are not overlooked by God. And most surely I will not apologize for it. The same grace that carried you, carried me through heartbreak, through raising children, through loss, whether it was your mother, your father, your sister. I lost my sister when she was 30 something years old. She had an aneurysm. And I got so angry at God. So I said, God, she's serving people. I turned my back away from God. And one of my coworkers said to me, you don't know what your sister was praying for. So you got to accept what she wanted. I still was angry for a while. And even in my angerness and, straddling the fence with God, God still had his grace on me. He still had his grace covering me. The same grace that carried you through heartbreak, through raising children, through loss, through silent seasons, because I know I had some silent seasons. I know I had some seasons where I had just to go in the room and close the door and thank God for my sanity. I did it in silence, especially when my husband was alive. He was an alcoholic. And I ain't got no shame in my game. And my two boys know I told them I got to do and say what God told me to do and say. That's why when I wrote my book, Soul Hydration, I told them there's some things in that book. You know me as mommy. You know me as your friends know Miss Bailey at that time. But the person that you're looking at ain't always been that person. And I got to share what I've been through to help someone else. This is what grace is about. God's grace for humanity to love and to share with one another. But we all caught up in ourselves and we caught up in everything else. If we look around, you need to just take a sea line and take a pause and think about the grace. And what did I say grace was? The mercy of God towards humanity. Again, I will not apologize for it. The same grace that carried you and me through heartbreak, through raising children, through loss. When my mom passed away, I had to do her eulogy. I had to do my dad's eulogy. I had to do my grandmother's eulogy. I had to do, let me see, my dad, my mom, my grandmother, my uncle. My brother just passed away. Matter of fact, next month will be a year. I had to do his eulogy. And when I stood up there, I told him, you're not looking at the sister. You're not looking at the cousin, the aunt. You're not looking at that. You're looking at the woman of God came to declare and to decree the gospel of Jesus Christ. I started learning, and I was what 12. It was six in my 60s. That's when I really started understanding the grace and the mercy of God. Because if you can stand there and put your mama, love, and my stepfather, I did his eulogy. You know, I love him. I love my brother and my uncle and my aunt and my grandmother. But your mama, that you can, and my favorite Auntie Katie, your mama. Your mama. And I want to give this testimony and then I'm going to get off of here. When my brother found out that he had the C, and he called me and he said, Sis, I've lived a she raised us good. It said something was going on with the connection, but I'm going to get off of here. He said, she raised us good. And I said to him, that gave me so much peace and joy, even though I knew that he was going to be all right because he knows Jesus as his Lord and Savior. When he said, we lived a good life, and I said, you right, a good life. We might not have had $1 million, might not have had all the money, because sometimes people think money, you need money to survive, but money can't give you, and I don't want to say happiness because that's a cliche, and then, you just get so used to hearing stuff, and then you just go in here and come out here, but money can't do nothing. And I ain't even gonna name because I could name peace, joy, money can't do nothing when you are disconnected to the true vine. When you're disconnected from the one who loves you so much that he's got mercy towards you, we got to wake up. You got to wake up. It's time for you to walk in your purpose. You're not old. There ain't nothing wrong with you. If you need someone to talk to, do like what I'm doing. Get over here and talk to somebody. All of y'all got a whole bunch of wisdom that could be used. The world needs talking to. You know how old folks, my great grandmother used to sit in that rocking chair and all her grandkids be around her and she be talking. You might not can have a rocking chair, but maybe we can say that you can get on a YouTube channel, Facebook, or something, and have some wisdom and give some understanding to this younger generation. Let that be our rocking chair. We got to get with the time so that, this is the internet and this is what you're supposed to do. Then get on here, baby girl. You still have purpose. And I had to learn that. And that's why I'm flowing like I am, because I'm excited. Even though I have a PhD in theology, that piece of paper don't mean nothing. I appreciate God allowing me to get it. I worked hard for it, but that doesn't define who I really am. And now that I know who I am, I'm walking in who I am, because I didn't walk in it before. And those years back there, I can't make up for them. So these years that I got over here, oh, I'm walking in purpose. You need to come on, follow me, walk on your purpose. So, y'all, until next time, I like to have fun. You got to have fun. You got to have fun. You got to laugh and, don't take things so serious. You in these latter years, enjoy them. Hey, chill out, chill out. And if keep coming on here and listening to me, you're going to get chill, because I'm going to tell you to chill out. I'm going to tell you like it is, like it is, like the old folks in the South. So I'm going to tell you like it is, whether you like it or not. Because I'm going to be held accountable for what I should have said and what I didn't say. So that's how I know I'm walking in and using the grace that God has given me. Until next time, stand in peace and keep becoming. Why? Because grace has kept you. Purpose is calling you. Walk boldly into your latter years. See ya!